This is the first time anyone has seen her confront the person who threatened her safety. Here's the full breakdown of the confrontation, the reactions, and what this could mean for everyone involved. On Sunday, March 8, 2026, the shooting incident happened at 1:20 p.m. PT. It was the middle of the day, the sun was up, people in this part of Los Angeles were going about their regular Sunday routines. The incident occurred around 1:21 p.m. at a home on the 9500 block of Heather Road. The number of shots fired has been reported differently across outlets. The Times reports that an LAPD radio dispatch cited 10 shots as being fired. At least 4 rounds struck the house. Multiple rounds hit the outside of the home, as well as a vehicle parked out front. Video from the scene showed bullet holes covered with tape on the home's front gate. Investigators were also seen looking at an Airstream trailer parked in the driveway that had been struck, as were her partner, ASAP Rocky, and their children. All were unharmed. Rihanna shares 3 children with ASAP Rocky, RZA 3, Riot Rose 2, and 5-month-old Rocky Irish Mayers. An open fire on a home where a mother, a father, and 3 children under the age of 4 were inside. One of those children is 5 months old. A source close to Rihanna and ASAP Rocky claimed the couple don't know much, so there is some conflicting information about whether ASAP Rocky was present, but what is consistent across every report is that Rihanna was home. In an LAPD radio dispatch audio obtained by the Los Angeles Times, first responders reported that approximately 10 shots had been fired at the home from a vehicle described as a white Tesla parked across the street. The vehicle then fled south on Coldwater Canyon Drive. In dispatch audio, officials are heard saying the suspect's Tesla was followed by an LAPD helicopter. When they pulled the suspect over and took her into custody, they searched the vehicle. So within about an hour of the shooting, the suspect was in custody, the weapon was recovered, and thankfully nobody was hurt. A 35-year-old Florida woman. Ortiz was booked into custody on suspicion of attempted murder. Attempted murder, not reckless discharge of a firearm, not assault, attempted murder. That is the charge. Ortiz was booked for attempted murder and her bail was set at $10,025,000. Ortiz was arrested at 2:20 p.m. Sunday and booked into LA County Jail shortly after 2 a.m. Monday. Her bail was listed in jail records at $10,025,000. That is a number that tells you law enforcement is treating this as serious as it gets. So who is Ivana Ortiz? Ortiz is an Orlando, Florida resident, authorities said. The suspect was linked to social media accounts of an Illinois native who claims to work as a speech therapist in Florida. State records indicate there is a woman of the same name who is a licensed speech-language pathologist who is currently in good standing.
The license was issued on March 17, 2015, and is active until December 31, 2027, according to state records. So, on paper, this is a licensed professional, a speech-language pathologist, someone with a career, credentials, and what appears to be a functioning life in Orlando, Florida. But what investigators found when they started digging into Ortiz's background tells a different story. Ortiz's criminal record from Florida shows several incidents of domestic violence dating back to 2023. Those arrests were related to a 2013 bankruptcy case, suspicion of careless driving in 2021, and suspicion of domestic violence and battery in 2023. The domestic violence case in particular provides some context. Her divorce from her ex-husband turned violent on June 25, 2023, when he dropped off their children at Ortiz's apartment. According to an arrest affidavit, Ortiz had texted the ex-husband, "You'll be socked on the nose tonight at the drop-off." According to the affidavit, cell phone video of the confrontation showed Ortiz calling the man a homophobic slur. The affidavit said there was a physical altercation. She claimed he struck her with the phone, pushed her to the ground, pulled her hair, and placed a hand on her neck. However, she admitted he used his hand to subdue rather than choke her, arguing she only threw punches in self-defense. The investigating officer dismissed this claim, writing in the official report, "I find Ivana Ortiz to be the primary aggressor of the above incident." 3 months later, Ortiz was arrested again for allegedly violating pre-trial release conditions connected to the battery case. Court records indicate she was also cited for careless driving in September 2021. So, here is the picture forming. A woman with a history of domestic violence, a contentious divorce, prior arrests, and a pattern of escalating behavior. And that escalation, as we are about to see, went far beyond her personal relationships. If confirmed, that would mean this was not an impulsive act. It would mean Ortiz planned this. She traveled from Orlando, Florida to Los Angeles, California, armed herself with an AR-15 style rifle, drove a white Tesla to Rihanna's home and opened fire. That is premeditation. That is a level of intent that would significantly impact the legal proceedings. The suspect's motive remains unclear. Ortiz has no yet known connection to Rihanna or ASAP Rocky. Investigators are trying to determine whether Ortiz knew if Rihanna lived at the home, but the answer to that question may have already been answered by what Ortiz left behind on social media. And this is where things take a turn. When law enforcement and the public began looking into Ivana Lynette Ortiz's online presence, videos, posts, rants, and accusations directed at Rihanna and other celebrities. Ivana Lynette Ortiz, the woman arrested for firing shots at Rihanna's home on Sunday, seems to have shared multiple videos making incoherent accusations concerning the singer, even what will happen when Rihanna dies. In a YouTube video posted January 4th, Ivana Lynette Ortiz clutches a praying woman's journal and appears to accuse Rihanna of trying to kill her. Even more disturbing, Ortiz appears to say that when Rihanna dies, God will take Ortiz to her future. In another video uploaded to YouTube on January 24, Ortiz seems to give a similar rant while holding the same book. In the second clip, Ortiz appears to liken Rihanna's face to the devil before delving into a tirade about homework. Rihanna's fans accused Ortiz of being mentally unstable because she talks about the singer as though they have already met. And the claims Ortiz made on camera were not coherent grievances. They were not rational complaints. She claims Rihanna stole her thoughts, that Rihanna is jealous of her, that Rihanna was in her dreams, that when Rihanna is gone, God will take her to her future, and that Rihanna's spirit holds no purpose. In another compilation video, Ortiz called Rihanna a witch and then called herself a watchman. She also accused the singer of stealing her thoughts. Ortiz criticized Rihanna's music and said that none of her tracks have reached the public because she just released them for witchcraft. This is the footage that has been circulating. These are the videos that people are watching and sharing. And this is why the title of this story mentions on camera, because the suspect left a documented trail of her fixation for the world to see. The other celebrities were not spared either. Ortiz posted a video calling out Cardi B, and the content extended to other figures in entertainment, but Rihanna was the primary target. Rihanna's name that kept appearing, and Rihanna's home was the one that got shot at. The motive of the shooting remains under investigation, but law enforcement sources told ABC News that they are looking at all aspects of Ortiz's life, including her social media presence, to find answers. Included in that is a post Ortiz appears to have made in February with bizarre references to Rihanna. And beyond social media, there were legal actions too. Last year, Ortiz submitted a verified emergency petition against Live Nation Worldwide, Rihanna's promoter in the city of Orlando. She filed the petition to stop Billie Eilish's performance at the Kia Center, claiming the event organizers had failed to obtain a proper special event permit and a required noise waiver. So, this was a woman who was interacting with the entertainment industry, or attempting to, through social media, through the legal system, and ultimately through violence. According to the posts that are believed to belong to the woman, she was seen making freestyle rap videos and journal posts about prayer that she uploaded to her YouTube account in the weeks leading up to the shooting.
Now, the word confronts in the title of this video is doing a lot of work because what we have here is not a face-to-face meeting between Rihanna and Ortiz. What we have is a one-sided obsession captured on camera. A woman who recorded herself talking about Rihanna as though they had a relationship, as though there was some ongoing conflict. And then that obsession turned into an AR-15 being fired at Rihanna's front gate while her children were inside.
What happened on March 8, 2026 is not the first time Rihanna has dealt with security threats at her home. In fact, her history with stalkers and intruders goes back years, and it paints a picture of a woman who has had to think about personal safety in ways that most people never have to consider. This isn't the first frightening ordeal to happen to the Fenty Beauty founder. Back in 2018, a man broke into her house in the Hollywood Hills by hopping a fence. According to the Los Angeles County District Attorney, the perpetrator, identified by the DA as Eduardo Leon, spent 12 hours inside the singer's home before he was discovered by an assistant. The 27-year-old pleaded no contest to stalking and was ultimately ordered to stay away from Rihanna for 10 years. 12 hours. This man was inside her home for 12 hours. Before anyone found him, the 26-year-old had somehow disabled her alarm system and entered where he stayed at least an entire day. Cops say he made himself at home, charging his phone and unpacking his bag. According to police, he intended to have sex with her. In 2019, Leon pleaded no contest to felony stalking, burglary, and vandalism, and was sentenced to 5 years of probation, drug and mental health treatment, 90 days of GPS monitoring, and a 10-year restraining order that requires him to stay away from Rihanna. That was the first major incident, but there was a second one that same year. The second home invasion occurred in September 2018 when 3 suspects broke into the Hollywood Hills property. Authorities had responded to the burglary call around 9:30 p.m. after the suspects triggered the home's alarms and surveillance systems. The 3 home invaders were also captured on video breaking into Rihanna's home, but a description of their getaway vehicle was not immediately available. 2 home invasions in a single year. And now, in 2026, a woman fires an assault rifle at her home in broad daylight. Rihanna has dealt with several stalkers over her 2-decade career. The pattern is consistent, and the threats have only escalated. A man breaking in, 3 men breaking in, and now gunfire. Given this history, it is not surprising that Rihanna has spoken publicly about her approach to safety and protecting her family.
Before welcoming her firstborn, she confessed she would not play when it comes to her kids, saying she would take a page from Real Housewives of New Jersey star Teresa Giudice. "She will flatten you about those kids," the beauty mogul told Teen Vogue in 2022. And that resonates with me a lot, because I feel like that's the type of mom I'm going to be. And now she is a mother of 3. Her oldest is 3 years old, her youngest is 5 months, and someone fired an AR-15 at the gate of the home where those children live. As for Rihanna's state after the incident, a source told People that she was okay. That is the only public update we have on how Rihanna is doing. One word: okay. Neither Rihanna nor ASAP Rocky have commented on the attack. And honestly, what do you say? What statement could adequately address the fact that someone drove across the country, potentially, to fire a military-style weapon at your home while your babies were inside? Sometimes silence is the only response that makes sense. Sometimes you let the legal system do the talking. But the silence does not mean nothing is happening behind the scenes. The LAPD's Robbery-Homicide Division is handling the case. The department said that investigators from its Robbery-Homicide Division will handle the case. That is the unit that takes on the highest profile and most complex cases in the city. They do not assign robbery-homicide to routine incidents. The question that many people are asking is, how did it get this far? If Ortiz had been posting content like this for months, making accusations, filming herself rambling about Rihanna, even filing legal petitions against Rihanna's promoter, how did nobody flag this before it escalated to gunfire? This is a question that extends well beyond this specific case. It is a question about celebrity safety in the age of social media, about the gap between concerning behavior online and intervention in the real world, and about how obsessive fixation can be identified and addressed before it turns into violence. Rihanna's career spans over 2 decades. In July 2022, Rihanna was named the youngest self-made female billionaire by Forbes when she hit the $1.4 billion net worth marker earned by her music, beauty, and fashion ventures. She owns 50% of Fenty Beauty and a 30% stake in her Savage x Fenty lingerie brand.
Her stake in the beauty brand alone was valued at an estimated $700 million. She is one of the most famous people on the planet, and fame at that level comes with a cost that most people do not see. A cost measured in security details, gated properties, private entries and exits, constant vigilance, and the knowledge that at any moment someone could decide that their fixation justifies action. So where does this case stand now? Ortiz was booked for attempted murder after allegedly firing multiple rounds into Rihanna's home from her car. She remains in custody with bail set at $10,025,000. Official charges remain forthcoming. That means the district attorney has not yet formally filed charges, but the booking charge of attempted murder signals what prosecutors are considering. $10 million in bail is not a number the court arrives at lightly. It reflects the severity of the allegations, the potential danger posed by the suspect, and the likelihood in the court's assessment that this person could be a flight risk or a continued threat. Ortiz is from Florida. She was arrested in Los Angeles.
The distance alone suggests she traveled specifically for this purpose. LAPD officers were waiting when the Tesla pulled into the parking area and took Ortiz into custody. Officers said they found an assault-style rifle inside the vehicle. Ortiz's file in the Sheriff of Los Angeles County's inmate search described her as having blonde hair and brown eyes. The legal process will take time. There will be arraignment, potential motions, and eventually a trial if no plea deal is reached. But given the attempted murder charge and the $10 million bail, this case is being treated as a top priority by the Los Angeles justice system. Meanwhile, the internet has responded the way the internet responds. Fans of Rihanna have been vocal on social media, expressing concern, anger, and relief that the singer and her family were not physically harmed. After the woman was arrested, fans took to various social media platforms sharing what they think are the woman's posts that seem to indicate that she was obsessed with Rihanna and other celebrities such as Cardi B. People have been compiling clips, screenshots, and posts from Ortiz's social media accounts, building a timeline of her behavior in the weeks and months leading up to the shooting. According to the posts that are believed to belong to the woman, she was seen making freestyle rap videos and journal posts about prayer that she uploaded on her YouTube account. Fans have also been sharing screenshots and other pictures that seem to indicate the woman has a prior record, as the images appear to be her mugshots. Now, to return to the title of this video, Rihanna confronts her shooter on camera. The reality of this situation is layered. There is no footage of Rihanna sitting across from Ivana Lizette Ortiz and addressing her directly. What exists is a body of footage posted by Ortiz herself in which she talks about Rihanna obsessively, accuses her of things that have no basis in reality, and records herself making statements that in hindsight read as warning signs of what was to come. The on-camera element is Ortiz's own documentation of her fixation. She filmed herself, she posted it publicly, she tagged Rihanna, she named her, she accused her, and then she showed up at her house with a weapon. That is the confrontation. Not a face-to-face meeting, but a one-sided campaign of harassment that escalated into real-world violence. And Rihanna's response so far has been silence, a silence that speaks to a level of restraint that most people would struggle to maintain. There is also the broader conversation happening right now about how social media platforms handle threatening content. Ortiz posted these videos on Facebook and YouTube. She tagged celebrities, she made statements that, in retrospect, could be interpreted as threatening. Were those posts reported? Were they flagged? Were they reviewed? And if they were, what was the determination? These are the questions that come up every single time an online fixation turns into a real-world attack, and they are questions that still do not have satisfying answers. In addition to her parenting responsibilities, Rihanna has been spending time at work both on her Savage X Fenty lingerie brand and seemingly on new music, as she revealed she was back in the recording studio. In a video shared on Instagram Feb 26th, "I have to go to the studio after this," the 38-year-old told her team in the clip. Rihanna recently posted video that showed she's working on the follow-up to her last album, 2016's Auntie, in addition to taking care of her kids. So Rihanna is in the middle of one of the most anticipated album rollouts in recent memory.
She is running a billion-dollar beauty empire. She is raising 3 children under the age of 4, and on a Sunday afternoon, someone fired an AR-15 at the gate of the home where those children live. The fact that everyone inside the home survived without physical injury is the single most important detail in this entire story. It is the reason this is a story about an arrest and not a story about a tragedy. Between 5 and 7 shots were fired, hitting the outside gate to the house but not the house itself, according to the LAPD, although other reports suggest at least one round did penetrate a wall. Either way, the bullets were close. Close to where a family lives, close to where children sleep, close to a result that would have changed everything. Ortiz now faces attempted murder charges in connection with the shooting. Authorities continue investigating the incident. This case will continue to develop. More details will come out about Ortiz's travel, her state of mind, her access to the weapon, and her knowledge of Rihanna's address. The investigation is active, and the LAPD has committed its top resources to it. For Rihanna, the path forward involves the same thing it has always involved: continuing her life, her work, and her family, while navigating the reality that fame at her level can attract the kind of attention that no amount of success is worth. She has been here before. She has dealt with intruders before. She has dealt with stalkers before. But this is the first time someone showed up with an assault rifle, and that is the full story. A woman from Florida with a documented social media obsession drove to Los Angeles, parked across the street from Rihanna's home, and fired an AR-15 at the property while the singer and her children were inside. She was arrested within an hour. She is being held on $10 million in bail. She faces attempted murder charges, and Rihanna, by all accounts, is okay. The footage exists. The posts exist. The videos exist. Everything Ortiz put on camera in the weeks and months before this incident is now evidence. Evidence of a fixation that went from words on a screen to bullets in a gate. And that is the confrontation this story is about. Not a conversation, not a meeting, but a collision between obsession and reality that came within feet of ending in the worst way possible.